gotta start over.
Welcome to
Welcome to a cup of friendship.
It's hard. It's a cup of friendship. Join in. Grab a cup of friendship. It's hard. Take a sip of friendship. Join in. It's a cup of friendship. It's hard.
I'm Rashida.
I don't even know why they acted like that, cause
I'm Tanya, and this is
Who are you?
Kara.
And we're missing one, but
Yes.
we love her, and we
yes, and
you
we
know
hope that she's enjoying her family today.
Yes, and
so we're excited about
this
today's
is
topic.
a cup of friendship.
And the person we're missing is Sigrid.
Yes.
Y'all
Hi,
like,
Sigrid.
y'all
Yes.
like, we missing
Someone. Okay. Trust, these
do.
are non-alcoholic.
You wouldn't know that as of now, but it really is.
Okay.
But welcome again. We are so excited for another episode of A Cup of Friendship Talk. Today we are actually going to be talking about healthcare and the importance of taking care of yourself, especially as women, but also our young men as well. But what we've discovered is a lot of times, you know, getting your annual physicals and all of those things are kind of like slim to none right now. We don't hear it as often, especially amongst our young adults. But we want to talk about the importance of having those done and why it is necessary. Think of it like a maintenance plan. You know, like many
That's
of
good.
you all have cars and so forth. And nowadays they have it where it's automatically set up for you to know when it's time for your oil change, for example. And then once that comes up, once it gets time, then there's either a beep noise starts going off, or there's an alert, or there's the system that tells you time for your oil change, basically. But it's not that something is wrong with your car. It's a maintenance mechanism to say, okay, before something becomes worse than what you can actually deal with later, let's go ahead and get this oil changed now so that we can keep the maintenance of your car and your car working good and in order without any major issues. So that's much like how we have to look at our bodies and the way that we take care of ourselves. And as far as like, obviously there's 3 women here today, and we have annual physicals, and many times that's dealing with like your women's doctor, you may call it, or OBGYN doctor, or primary care doctor. There's many names, but the main reason for getting your physicals is to make sure that you are in good working order. And if there is something that needs to be addressed, then it can be found out during those moments versus waiting until... Now, I know we can't see y'all, but I'm going to ask this question. How many of y'all be waiting until like the last of the last of the last, like you know you about to pass out before you go
Or
to the
something's
doctor?
wrong. Yeah.
Or something is
Yeah,
really,
you
really
actually
wrong?
know something is wrong.
Me.
Yeah.
Well, we got somebody right here on,
Okay.
on camera with us, so you're not by yourself.
No.
But I know it's normal, right? Because a lot of times in the run of a day, you get into your routine, and going to the doctor is not always at the forefront of your mind because it is something that nothing's wrong. So you just
Right.
kind of go on. But if once you get the understanding that I got to get my annual physical, especially even mammograms, like I think now it's still at least 40 years of age, unless you have a history of breast cancer in your family. Like for me, I was able to start, I think I was like 32 or 33 to start getting my mammograms because my mother had breast cancer. But what it does is it creates that baseline to say, okay, as of, let's just say today, June 24th, 2023, Kara is good. This is what her systems say. This is what her cholesterol is saying. This is what her blood is doing. This is all these different things. Okay, then she doesn't have to come back until June 24th of 2024. Oh, wait a minute. Something's going on with her blood. But how do they know that there's something going on? Well, they were able to utilize the baseline from the previous year to get an idea of what the normal functions look like. And so that baseline was able to help alert the doctors of, okay, something is wrong or something is appearing to be of concern and we need to address it. So that's one of the reasons why it is so important to get in the habit of getting your physicals. And when nothing's wrong, that's just even greater. That's better.
Right.
But you keep doing it because we have to, just like we take care of our cars, because guess what? We know we need our cars to drive us to work,
Right.
to take our kids to school, or whatever other activities that we're doing. Our bodies has to be able to get in the car, to be able to drive, to do whatever the activities are. And so we want to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies. So we wanted to just encourage you, if you haven't started,
Right.
go ahead and start. As a matter of fact, unless it's the weekend that you're looking at this video, but if it's during the weekday, go and call your primary doctor.
Yes, and
or
make an
find you one.
appointment. Yes.
And make an appointment so you can start your physicals. Because we care about you. We care about your mental health. We care about your spiritual health, but we also care about your physical health as well. And so we want to hear, like, let us know. Come back to this video and say, yes, a cup of friendship. I went and made my appointment, or whatever the case may be, so that we can know that you're actually in support of what we're saying. We support you. We want to see you healthy. We want to see you be able to do everything you want to do in your life as well as for your kids, but you got to do it healthy.
Yes.
So that's what today's conversation is. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, but I wanted to make sure we broke out with that point because it's just evident. Now, y'all young adults, listen. Now this TT Kara talking. This Auntie Kara, TT Kara, whatever you want to say. But for real, y'all, and this is usually the age group of like 18 to 35.
Right.
So listen, we understand y'all got y'all whole lives and y'all is lifing out there in them streets. We get it. But none of that is going to make any sense if you in a hospital bed, not knowing what has happened or why it's even an issue, because you never took the time out to go and create your baselines of when your systems and your natural body's flow was natural and normal, and reading good readings on all areas of what makes you function.
Right.
When God created you, he created you with perfection in mind. But in order to maintain that, it's your responsibility. He's not going to do that part for you. He's not going to go and take you to the doctor. You got to go and make your appointment and show him that you care about the body that he gave you. So make sure that you are getting your primary care taken care of. And mammograms, listen, you may
Very
say,
important.
I'm not 40 yet.
Yeah.
If you know that you have a history, whether it's your mom, your grandmother, or whoever that's close to you, use that. Don't even worry about, I still got until I'm 40. There are people that are younger than 40 who are having cancer, and they didn't even know that it was possible, or they didn't even realize that there was an issue because they wasn't getting the necessary care and testings that they needed to get done. So please, it's not to scare you, but it is to encourage you to go ahead and get them baselines and let them doctors build a friendship and a relationship with your doctors, so that when something is wrong, the least little pain, listen, our bodies, we're not supposed to be in pain. We're not supposed to be sick. We're not supposed to be hurt. But however, because these are bodies and they are designed to get us up out of here, but we're also affected by the elements that this world has in the air. There's things we're breathing in all the time that we have no idea of what it is. But once it gets in our systems, it can definitely cause an adverse reaction. And so we want to make sure that you be encouraged to go and start getting your physicals. It's only once a year. Once you start, once a year. So if you can do that, I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Anybody else?
Well, basically, I was going to say, I want to piggyback off of what Kara just said in reference to it is not normal for you to be in any type of pain, whether it's consistent headaches, whether you say your back is hurting, even when you say your feet are hurting and they're hurting on a regular basis, your body should never be in pain. That's not a norm. One of the things that we have a tendency of doing is in our minds, in our mentals, we tell ourselves we can push past the pain, or we take a couple of Tylenol, and then the pain goes away. If the pain comes back, that's the sign of a problem. Also, it is not normal if you are always tired. It is not normal if you are always exhausted. It is not normal for you to say, I can't feel like I can, like I can get my energy. Like I'm like, that's not normal. It's not normal to eat ice excessively. Those are signs that there's probably an iron deficiency. So a lot of things that we sit at home and we self-diagnose ourselves as this is just the way that I am, we need for you to reverse that mindset. And if it's something you're doing that a lot of other people aren't, you may want to do just like Kara just suggested and get an appointment with your primary doctor. I realize that health insurance can be very expensive, but there are agencies and entities throughout the community that will allow you the opportunity to be able to receive health care at an affordable or free price. Yes. It's worth looking into. Yes. Because at the end of the day, whether it's you want to live to enjoy life until you're 100 or your loved ones, you want to be able to be here to be able to live life in a healthy state. This includes mental, this includes oral, this includes your body, it includes your feet, everything about you. It amazes me the number of doctors. There's a doctor for every part of our body.
It is. Literally.
Right, for real.
For every part. Which is why the benefit of the primary care doctor, because your primary care doctor is part of their responsibility is to know how to direct you to the right doctors based on the diagnosis or any need of concern or anything like that. So that's one of the other benefits of having a primary care doctor. What I noticed, just from being around family and friends, is that it's a lot of we put a lot of importance on it when kids are in elementary school. We put a lot of importance on it when our kids are playing sports. But somewhere we lose the urgency when they're in high school after the sports and stuff are over, which goes to the 18. So by the time that they get as the adulthood that actually there may be a problem going on, it's not their norm anymore to go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you're going to have to revert back to remember how many times your mom took you to the doctor to get the shots. Remember how many times she took you to go to the dentist. Like, you're going to have to rethink. It's like, okay, I need to continue this in my adulthood. Mm-hmm. Men especially, because it has been known that men have had prostate cancer and not even know it till years later. And it was because they stopped getting their annual checkups. Mm-hmm. I don't care how uncomfortable it is, it's going to save your life. Yep. Yeah. Get it done. Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, last for me is especially, I'm going to say this. After we were introduced to COVID, it should change your mind in reference to wanting to be healthy. And if it didn't, then COVID really didn't affect you the way that it should have. And, that's my comments until I pick it back up on somebody else. Yeah.
Guys, they covered it all. It's really nothing to piggyback off of, but I'm going to tell you this. On the areas of self-care, we talked about that last episode about how you have to make sure you put yourself first. And I think that's where going to the doctor lacks, because we don't put ourselves first. You got children, you got your career, you got your hobbies, you got your likes or sports activities with the children. Takes up a lot of your time. So the first thing you say is, okay, I'll make an appointment tomorrow. Tomorrow, never, you never make it till the pain hits again. And then you say, okay, I got to make an appointment tomorrow. Still don't do it because you took something to cover the pain. So you just keep going and before you know it, it's just almost too late. And that person was me, because my kids were active in school and I had a single parent and I had 2 boys, so it was always something going on. Now, I made sure they went to the doctor, but I didn't put myself first, and not thinking, okay, if you don't put yourself first, who are they going to have? Right. Because you didn't let yourself slack.
Right.
So now the kids burying their mom at 50 or 45.
Right.
Because I didn't do what I needed to do to stay here with them. So, sort of like what we talked about last episode and with Karen talking about the physicals and your health and your well-being, it's very critical that you take the time and stop and say, hey, what's hurting? Why why my finger doing this? Or why my toe look like that? Or is that toenail right? Or, I mean, it's just any little thing can crawl up and keep going, and next thing you know, it then triggered something else and triggered something else and triggered something else when it could have all been handled because you had an ingrown toenail.
Right.
Girl.
And then you find out you got high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetic, sugar. You
ain't lying.
Everything just kind of went
It's
downhill.
a domino effect.
Yeah. So one of the things I was telling Kara, I was looking through on the self-care is basically 8 main areas of your self-care. It's physical, psychological, emotional, social, professional, environmental, spiritual, and financial. Those are things that make you have to stop and say, let me put them in their place. You have to make sure, your goals or your tactics or anything is in place in your life, and one don't overtake the other.
Right.
Or one dominates all of it. And right now, I think for society, it's finances. Everybody running for the money. And you just done forgot about that you don't get but 2.5 hours of sleep every night.
Right.
Trying to
grind. And, I got my side business. I got my main business. I got my side. It's something everywhere trying to make money. But you got to balance it. That's just like in the natural. If nature didn't balance itself, we'd be crazy.
That is a good point. Yeah, that was good, Rashida. You might have did a little research on that one now. Yeah.
So we just got to balance. And my drink is, hey.
But that's good. That is good. One thing that has helped me in terms of like the annual physicals, like one thing we know, we gonna have a birthday.
Yep.
Every year, as long as you live.
That's good.
So if you make your physicals around your birthday, then there's a good chance you won't forget to make your appointment. In fact, when you leave one appointment, the doctor 9 times out of 10 is going to be ready to schedule you for your next year's appointment. So if you keep it around your birthday time, then that you're more prone to be cognizant of it once you get used to it, because you know that your birthday is coming. So then you start thinking about all the other things that comes around that time. And one of them should be, after this episode, if not already, is your physical, your annual physical that takes place. But I've once I made that switch, it made it so much easier, because I knew I was getting ready for May the 2nd was coming and my birthday was coming. So I was started becoming more aware of, okay, what else is going on around that time, and my physicals. Putting them around that time made it so much easier versus trying to go another part of the year, remember the schedule and all of that. Nope, it just made it much more easier, I believe, for myself and the doctor to just schedule it. But but that's really what we just wanted to touch base on. We just want to make sure that that your health, that is considered a part of your maintenance plan. Just like you may budget your finances every month or every week or however you do that, and you take the time, you're intentional. You set aside a moment to go through your bills every month or every week or however you do it, and you outline whatever you do to make sure everything is on point. That's the same way that we should be about our physical health, and make sure that we prioritize that with the understanding, because if this isn't working, it ain't gonna matter what bill need to be paid.
Right, you can't go,
because you're not gonna be able to go to your job. It's not gonna matter what sports your children need to be playing or want to play. It's gonna be hard for you to go because your body is gonna be out of whack. And that's not to say just because you go to your annual physicals that nothing ever happens.
Right.
But the thing about it is, when something happens, the doctor can have an edge to be able to catch things much sooner than later, and you have a better chance of getting the proper care up front. That's more of, okay, this is all you're going to need because we addressed it this soon, versus later, and then now you got all of this other stuff that's now being affected because you've waited too long, or waited to even go to the doctor to even figure out what's wrong because you waited until it got to the worst of the worst. And so just to be mindful of that, it just all works together if you create that system of going every year. And then sometimes it may be something the doctors say, we need you to come every 6 months. Right. Especially when you get into like breast and mammograms and
blood pressure,
different things, and blood pressure.
The older you get,
and there's genetics. So there's so many different things that can play a part to your health, that the sooner you get to the point of you establishing what your health, I guess you could say health picture for yourself looks like, then that'll help you, the doctor, and everyone else involved be able to get the proper care that you need up front and sooner than later. That's really the goal. We don't want you to wait until it's the last of the last, and now you're in a more challenging predicament that is going to be much harder for you to get through.
Yeah.
And in the process of selecting a doctor or a primary care physician, be very prayerful and be very watchful in your selection. If you're with a doctor and they're brushing you off or they're acting like you don't matter, get you another doctor.
You gotta have somebody
because
to care.
Most primary physicians that are about the patient's care, they're going to take out the time to get to know you.
Yes.
Now, it has already been proven they've been trained to come in and be in your room for a certain amount of minutes. You watch for the doctor that don't mind staying after those few minutes are up. Or they come in, like my primary doctor, he was my mother's primary doctor. So he'll always come in and say, you know, I enjoy taking care of your mom. How have you been doing? And he reminds me of what I should be paying close attention to. That is very important. It's just like your friends. You want your friends to know everything about you. Your doctor needs to know everything about you, because at the times that if you have to be admitted to the hospital and you call them, he's going to be able to run it off. Just like that.
And that's because he's got a record of it.
Right. And he will not let them do anything without his approval. Right. So there's a reason for all of it. Get you a primary care doctor, even if it's the public health department.
They have one that
they have doctors that go there and do their visitations there. And they still give the same quality of care.
And I had a primary physician and went to the health department because I liked the one they had. She was a lady, and she was very good. And she was one that asked the questions you're not ready to answer, but she's like, no, I need to know this. I need you to be truthful with me because this is about your health, and I need to know what to do to help you with your health. Right, it's not my health, so lying to me is not going to help me. I mean, it's
tell the truth.
Yes, I was about to say that.
She was just like, if you're gonna
tell the truth,
she was just like, don't lie to me about your health. It ain't gonna benefit me because I'm going home and go to bed. And she was just honest. And when she said that, it was like, boing. Tell her what she needs to know and what happened and
it's so funny
how it happened. Because if some things, even in childbirth, if you had like she even asked me, did you have a hard labor? Like, did you tear? Did you do this? Did you do that? Are you okay? Did it come out correctly? Come back. Come back. Get your little sip. Come back. It's okay.
Cause listen.
Yeah, because that made it. Yeah, this the whole. Remember, she ain't had one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. To know that, and did I get stitches? And did I, were they taken out or did they dissolve? And she just asked questions, and I'm sitting there looking at this lady like, why do you need to know all that about your 30 and 20 and 40? Come on. But she was like, no, because your body, it affects your body later.
It does.
So she'll know if something goes on, we can reflect it later. But I just wanted to throw this in about the resilience, rest, relaxation, replenishment, and release. We say that all the time, but it's actually truthful.
Right.
You got to do that with your body.
And release yourself to go schedule your appointment.
Yes.
I
Soon,
felt that.
not later.
Now I felt that one.
And take
I
it from
did.
somebody who was not making the appointment sooner. So go make them.
Yeah.
You don't want to be struggling.
My hope is after you see this video that it quickens you to say, you know what? Even if you see us in public, like, hey, TT Tanya, you know,
I'm not a TT.
and I went and got my, you know, whatever appointment it was. I mean, that helps
That
us
helps,
also
yeah.
to know that what we're doing is making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So please make the commitment. I got some appointments scheduled. I got one I got to reschedule. So by the time you and I talk again,
Everybody will
had
be on
that
point.
appointment just because.
I just had mine. I'm in good health. Thank you. Hallelujah.
Well, we certainly do appreciate, as always, you taking the time to spend with a Cup of Friendship Talk. And we are definitely looking forward to our next episode. So make sure you stay tuned to our page because you never know what we're going to be cooking up next or mixing up next that you're going to need to be prepared for the next episode. All right? Well, until next time.
Cheers.
Bye.
It's a cup of friendship, join in. Grab a cup of friendship, it's on. Take a sip of friendship, join in. It's a cup of friendship, it's on.
On the mocktail.
What you just
Here are the
said.
ingredients.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Okay. Golly. Okay.
So many bloopers.
So many. I already know.
What happened?